Director of Ceremony. Let me recognize the presence of the Executive Secretary of AMCOW, Dr. Rashid Bazira, and the Chair of TAG, who is also the ED for the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform. That's Ms. Ndiakupe, and of course, all the vice chairs and the entire, should I say, the entire members of TAG. Right from the onset, allow me to recognize the warm Namibian hospitality that we have all enjoyed since our arrival in this place, or rather, should I say, in this clean capital, Windhoek. And I think that's something that we cannot take for granted. And at the same time, of course, recognize the contribution of AMCOW Secretariat under the leadership of Dr. Banzira in terms of organizing this event. It is important to note that Africa cannot realize the aspirations of Agenda 2063, neither can we achieve the goals that are put before us, those of the Sustainable Development Goals by 2030, unless we address our water needs. And the reason being that water is actually at the center of our development. Whether we talk of energy, we talk of agriculture, we talk of tourism, health, all these sectors, they actually depend on water. And therefore, it's important that we make sure that we ensure water security to be able to achieve our development agenda. It is also critical to note that despite the importance of this sector, if you look at the budgetary allocations among the countries, you realize that it's not accorded the space that it deserves. And I think governments need to do more in terms of promoting investments in water, in the water sector, and making sure that all our needs are actually addressed. It is also concerning to note the fact that the prediction models for climate change paint a very gloomy picture. We see that most parts of Africa, they are likely to get even more drier. And we already know that the northern parts, the southern parts, as well as the western parts, they are already dry. And East Africa is also of late experiencing serious, severe droughts. And that alone indicates that water resources are going to continue to dwindle down, and that is a recipe for conflicts at a community level as well as states. It is therefore important that we put mechanisms in place to be able to address issues of transboundary water resources management, but at the same time ensure that even at local level, we are able to address dilapidating infrastructure to make sure that our communities get water. And urbanization has also added another dimension in the sense that the existing infrastructure are no longer able to support the water needs of our communities. Therefore, there again, there's need to make sure that governments work together with the private sector to be able to address such challenges. And as I conclude, I would want to highlight the fact that as the African Union Commission will continue to work with AMCOW to make sure that AMCOW fulfills its mandate. And furthermore, our role is actually to put policies in place. And to that end, we have recently launched, the Climate Change and Resilient Development Strategy of the African Union, as well as the Integrated Africa Strategy for Meteorology, Weather, and Climate, which are actually quite relevant to the issues of water. Therefore, on this note, allow me to wish you all fruitful deliberation. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, our Director Sebe of the AUC. In fact, the enormity of the challenge in terms of climate change mitigation and adaptation is huge. So on that particular strategy, all of us are going to contribute to the development of that resilient Africa strategy. Thank you so much for that. Let's clap again, because I already told you, if you hear what he is going to say, you will clap more and more and more. Thanks so much. On that note, I want to go straight to call our honorable chair, our distinguished chair, to see whether we are wholeheartedly welcome to the land of the brave. Please take the podium. Over to you. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Directors of Proceedings. I recognize the High Table, our ES, and our AU representatives. And I want to stand in the protocol as already established by previous speakers. I'm greatly honored to welcome you to this Technical Advisory Committee session of the 13th Ordinary Session of the Executive Committee of the Governing Council. And I warmly welcome you to Windhoek, Namibia, the land of the brave, as already stated by Honorable ES. Ladies and gentlemen, it gladdens my heart that we can move together today to have our very first physical EXCO since the breakdown of COVID-19 pandemic 2 years ago. As our member states and partners are putting together strategies and plans to build back stronger from the ravages of COVID-19 pandemic, the vitality of water becomes even more important now than ever. Indeed, water is fundamental to ensuring, inter alia, better public health outcomes, regional cooperation and integration, industrialization, food security and food self-sufficiency, transportation, peace, and development. This has been underpinned by such continental and global commitments, including the 2008 Sharm el-Sheikh Declaration for accelerating the achievement of water and sanitation goals of Africa, the Africa Water Vision 2025, and the Sustainable Development Goals Agenda of 2030. Ladies and gentlemen, against this background, the 13th EXCO is being convened for us to discuss what can further be done to facilitate action of the achievement of the water and sanitation goals of our continent. And we seem very small in the room, but it is really you, African countries or member states, that the whole continent look up to you for the security of our water systems. As it is a usual case, our EXCO meetings usually have two segments. Today's session, which is the Technical Advisory Committee meetings, which is preceding the ministerial session for the 13th EXCO session, we decided also to have a full day, which is today, dedicated this today to our partners and stakeholders, to give them a platform and opportunity to share progress on our joint effort on assuring water security and safety managed sanitation to the continent. This shows how important we cherish our partner relationship with each and every one of you who is sitting with us here today. And indeed, AMCOW alone cannot achieve the Africa Water and Sanitation Agenda. This is really the multilateralism that we cannot take for granted. And for just making time to be here, I want you, my colleagues, to applaud our partners, please. It will be of interest to you to note that the key issues and decisions that will be taken from this partner reporting session today will be incorporated into the decisions that AMCOW will consider during the ministerial session of the 13th October 2022 on Thursday. Ladies and gentlemen, against this background, this 13th AMCOW will rise to review and deliberate on the AMCOW work programs and reports, and to report back to the Executive Committee for further guidance and/or endorsement. Therefore, this TAC and partner session shall deliberate and consider the following. 1, the AMCOW 2020 WASMO report. 2, partner reports on key initiatives and programs. 3, the status on the implementation of previous Governing Council and AMCOW decisions, which shall include proposed amendments to the staff and financial rules and regulations of AMCOW, revised AMCOW governance framework document, and framework for AMCOW strategies, program, and groundwater for water security and resilience in Africa. So 4, I will also consider the audit report on the financial statement for the year ended 31st December 2021 and financial progress report for 2022. 5, we'll also consider AMCOW's 3-year, which is 2022 to 2024 work program and budget. And finally, but not least, the AMCOW Youth, Gender, and Social Inclusion Strategy. Distinguished TAC members, ladies and gentlemen, in light of the above, I encourage you and all of us to rise to the occasion for a fruitful deliberation on these reports to enable us to arrive at decisions that will enable us accelerate action on the water and sanitation agenda of our beloved continent. Ladies and gentlemen, as I gladly welcome you to our TAC session of 13th AMCOW, I'm hopeful that you'll be able to find time, and please do find time, to explore Namibia and to visit our areas of interest. Indeed, we have several tourist attractions places which I encourage you to explore. Please be rest assured that in Namibia, which is the land of the brave, you have your home away from home. On this note, I officially declare the TAC session of the 13th ordinary session of the Executive Committee of the Governing Council of AMCOW duly opened. And I thank you, colleagues.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Let's give a round of applause. Thanks, having been welcome here. Yes, let me give you 2 seconds.
Yeah. It's better to be late than never. I would like us to recognize the presence in our midst of Mr. Jasalabe Ngwemajita from Chad, the Republic of Chad, who I hadn't recognized earlier.
Thank you so much. Our agenda has been cut out clearly, a map full, our distinguished TAC, as we've all seen clearly. So, and then our TAC chair has called on us to rise up to the occasion to deal decisively with the agenda. Ladies and gentlemen, on this note, as you will have seen on the agenda, we want to show a short video clip. As you know, in 2002, AMCOW was born in Abuja. This year, as we speak, AMCOW is 20 years old. So earlier this year, we put some few video clips and activities together, celebrating the founding fathers, as well as also a bit patting ourselves on the back for what we have all done together. So it is that video clip that we want to show. It was earlier on shown at the Well Water Forum earlier in July in Senegal, but we thought that it's still very important that we have it shown here so that we can see progress and also see the founding fathers and recognize them as such. On that note, I move straight to our logistic team over there, our technicians, to show us the video clip. And I believe it will not take more than 5 minutes, given our tight agenda already cut off for us by the Honorable TAC Chair. Over to you, our technical team. Thank you. Whilst they do that, I think I still have some few seconds to further announce that all documents have been shared online through a link. We hope that you were able to explore that link. Secondly, we were able to also share quickly the revised annotated agenda last night so that we can peruse it online as well as through our laptops. We are very good set to watch the short video clip. Over to you.
Largest of all continents of the world, Africa, comes the African Ministers' Council on Water, AMCOW. AMCOW, a dream nursed across the soils of Africa. A vision that spanned through years of consultations by ministers and heads of states across Africa. In April 2002, ministers responsible for water in 41 African countries gathered in Abuja to officially launch the African Ministers' AMCOW on the adoption of the Abuja Ministerial Declaration on Water. One of its kind on the continent, AMCOW envisions an Africa on the driver's seat in addressing her numerous developmental challenges. A collaboration of African countries, AMCOW aims to deliver political leadership, policy direction, and advocacy in the provision, use, and management of water resources. What better way to guarantee sustainable social and economic development and cooperation on the continent? Ladies and gentlemen, on this occasion of the 20th anniversary of AMCOW, taking place on the African soil of Dakar, Senegal, I present to you the founding leader the independence that has set AMCOW apart. AMCOW owes its autonomy and sustainability to former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Barrister Mukhtar Shehu Shagari, former Nigeria's Minister of Water Resources and appointed AMCOW President in 2002. Barrister Shagari was instrumental in securing the enduring of his country, Nigeria, offers of financial support to the Secretariat. He played a crucial role in mobilizing confidence in the fledgling Council of Ministers by establishing lasting partnerships. He chaired the launching of AMCOW's Knowledge MSSRC, located within the AMCOW Secretariat. His Excellency President Macky Sall, the President of the Republic of Senegal, is one of the founding fathers of AMCOW. President Macky Sall played influential roles in the conception and establishment of the African Ministerial Council on Water as one of the first vice presidents of AMCOW. He is at the forefront of initiatives to promote water and sanitation at global levels. Key among these initiatives is the establishment of the Blue Fund to expand sources of capital for sustainable climate-resilient water sanitation and hygiene, WASH infrastructure investments. Mr. Halifa was a deputy director at the United Nations Environment Programme, UNEP, with solid African convictions. He worked hard through his life.
Thank you so much. Yes, our technicians, whilst they sort out the technical glitches on the video, we wanted at this moment to first go for the family photo, whilst they sort it out, so that once we come back, then we can look at the short clip and then move through the agenda. Honorable Chair, I submit for your guidance.
I think you have stated it well. We are going to break now for our photo session. We are behind time with 6 minutes. And in this session, every minute counts. So we should be back actually to start at exactly 10 o'clock. Thank you.
Thank you so much. So we move outside so that we can have very good light. Our photographers, please organize us so that we can do this quickly and come back.
And this also ends our session for now with our medias. Thank you very much for coming, and we'll keep in touch throughout the whole session.
Thanks so much. The fourth estate of the realm, we thank you. Yes, they are assuring us. Whereas assured now that the road will be smooth on the video clip. Over.
AMCOW, a dream nursed across the soils of Africa. A vision that spanned through years of consultations by ministers and heads of states across Africa. In April 2002, ministers responsible for water in 41 African countries gathered in Abuja to officially launch the African Ministers' Council on Water, AMCOW, on the adoption of the Abuja Ministerial Declaration on Water. One of its kind on the continent, AMCOW envisions an Africa on the driver's seat. In addressing her numerous developmental challenges, a collaboration of African countries, AMCOW aims to deliver political leadership, policy direction, and advocacy in the provision, use, and management of water resources. What better way to guarantee sustainable social and economic development and cooperation on the continent? Ladies and gentlemen, on this occasion of the 20th anniversary of AMCOW, taking place on the African soil of Dakar, Senegal, I present to you the founding leaders, His Excellency Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, former Nigeria's president. He was Nigeria's sitting president during the struggle to establish AMCOW. It was his fatherly role that provided the independence that has set AMCOW apart. AMCOW owes its autonomy and sustainability to former President Olusegun Obasanjo. Barrister Mukhtar Shehu Shagari. He is the first AMCOW president, former Nigeria's Minister of Water Resources, and appointed AMCOW president in 2002. Barrister Shagari was instrumental in securing the enduring offer of his country, Nigeria, to host the Secretariat of AMCOW, supported by substantial offers of financial support to the Secretariat. He played a crucial role in mobilizing confidence in the fledgling Council of Ministers by establishing lasting partnerships. He chaired the launching of AMCOW's Knowledge Hub of Hubs, a component of the Mukhtar Shehu Shagari Resource Center, MSSRC, located within the AMCOW Secretariat. His Excellency President Macky Sall, the President of the Republic of Senegal, is one of the founding fathers of AMCOW. President Macky Sall played influential roles in the conception and establishment of the African Ministerial Council on Water as one of the first vice presidents of AMCOW. He is at the forefront of initiatives to promote water and sanitation issues at continental and global levels. Key among these initiatives is the establishment of the Blue Fund to expand sources of capital for sustainable, climate-resilient water, sanitation, and hygiene, WASH infrastructure investments. Ronnie Kasrils from South Africa. Ronnie was Minister of Water Affairs and Forestry from 1999 to 2004. Minister Kasrils and 12 of his fellow ministers in 2002 organized and hosted the first Africa Sand Conference in Johannesburg, South Africa, just before the World Summit on Sustainable Development. That event helped increase opinions that achieved the inclusion of sanitation as a specific MDG, Millennium Development Goal target. Today, Africa Sand has led to other continental sanitation movements like the Latin American Sanitation Conference, Latino San, and the South Asian Conference on Sanitation, SACO San. His Excellency Edward Lowassa, former Prime Minister of Tanzania. He was appointed Minister of Water and Livestock Development following the 2000 general elections. His tenure was remarkable for his hard work as a minister. Mr. Lowassa played more of catalytic roles that catalyzed the establishment of AMCOW. We remember late Honorable Mrs. Maria Mutakamba, former Ugandan Minister for Water and Environment. She was the second AMCOW president and held office from 2004 to 2012. One of her significant milestones includes the establishment of the African Water Facility, AWF. Also, she made immense efforts to further strengthen collaboration with external and internal African stakeholders. Late Mrs. Maria was the coordinator of the Global Women Leaders Forum for Water and Sanitation from 2005 to 2012. She championed the development of AMCOW's strategy for mainstreaming gender after the first Africa Water Day in Tunis in 2008. Mrs. Maria passed in Kampala at the age of 64 years. His Excellency Moleleki Monyane, former Deputy Prime Minister of Lesotho, made great contribution. He became the first president of the Governing Council of the Africa Water Facility. Honorable Martha Karua. She was former Kenyan Water Minister. She is still active in national politics in Kenya. She and her colleagues, Honorable Edward Lowassa, then Minister for Water and Livestock Development in Tanzania, and Honorable Maria Mutakamba, Uganda's Minister of State for Water Resources, jointly launched the Lake Victoria Region Water and Sanitation Initiative at a special event on 16 August 2004 during the Stockholm Water Week. Join us as we recognize and celebrate our founding leaders. To learn more about AMCOW, read our storybook on our website, www.amcowonline.org, or follow us on social media.
Round of applause. Thank you so much. Thanks so much. So that's the journey of 20 years on the water security and self-managed sanitation, but we are just starting. On this note, I think my time is up to hand over to the Honorable Chair, who is the substantive driver of the show. Over to you, Honorable Chair, to proceed with the guidance on the agenda. Thank you.
Okay, we can kickstart our agenda. You have it before you, colleagues. And I'm not going to repeat the attendance and quorum because these have already been attended to by our executive secretary. I would like us to move on page 2 of the agenda. Where we have an adoption of the agenda of our meeting. And if there is anything that one would like to add to the agenda, the time is now. Immediately after we have adopted the agenda, we cannot open that subject again. Therefore, dear colleagues, I would like by show of hands, someone to move for the adoption of the agenda, or otherwise if there are any amendments.